Islam Makhachev has officially shut down the idea of moving up to middleweight, putting an end to speculation about him potentially chasing a third UFC title. As he prepares for one of the most highly anticipated fights of the year against Jack Della Maddalena, Makhachev made it clear in a recent interview that middleweight is not a realistic division for him. Despite his dominant performances and his impressive physical transformation leading into this fight, the lightweight and welterweight champion explained that moving up to 185 pounds would simply not be natural for his body. During his conversation with Josh Thompson on the *Weighing-In show, Makhachev was asked whether he could see himself pursuing a middleweight title in 2026 to potentially become a three-division champion. Makhachev laughed at the suggestion and responded that competing at 185 pounds would be too much of a stretch. He stated that in order to fight at that weight, he would have to gain unnecessary size and lose the physical sharpness that makes him effective. According to him, middleweight fighters are simply too big, and trying to bulk up just to compete in that division would compromise his natural performance and athleticism. He emphasized that his focus remains on dominating the welterweight division after moving up from lightweight, and that is where he intends to finish his career. Makhachev's comments come amid growing discussion among fans and analysts about his potential to follow in the footsteps of other multi-division champions like Conor McGregor and Henry Cejudo. His recent physical transformation, showing a stronger and more muscular frame, sparked talk that he might be preparing for a move to middleweight. However, Makhachev put those rumors to rest, saying that while his body has adjusted well to welterweight, going any higher would push him beyond his limits. He made it clear that his current focus is on facing top-tier welterweights and solidifying his legacy as one of the most dominant fighters in UFC history. In the same interview, Makhachev also spoke about the influence of Khabib Nurmagomedov on his career, highlighting the deep trust and respect he has for his mentor. When asked whether Khabib could convince him to retire, Makhachev admitted that he would immediately listen if his coach and older brother figure told him to stop fighting. He described Khabib as the person who takes care of everyone in their camp and whose opinion carries tremendous weight. This level of loyalty and discipline reflects Makhachev's humility and strong sense of honor, traits that have defined his career since his rise under Khabib's mentorship. Makhachev's statements offer a clear look into his mindset as he continues to evolve as a champion. Rather than chasing headlines or records, he remains focused on mastering his craft within his optimal weight classes. His refusal to move up to middleweight shows a realistic understanding of his physical capabilities and an unwavering commitment to longevity. As he prepares to face Jack Della Maddalena, Makhachev is determined to prove once again why he is considered one of the most complete and disciplined fighters in modern MMA, a competitor who values precision, purpose, and respect over chasing unnecessary glory. Dan Hooker is once again facing some adversity ahead of his upcoming fight against Arman Tsarukyan. With UFC Qatar less than 2 weeks away, Hooker revealed that he recently broke his front teeth during training. The New Zealand fighter, known for his toughness and resilience, discussed the incident during an appearance on Combat TV. When asked about how his training camp was going for the Tsarukyan bout, Hooker casually mentioned that he had smashed his front tooth just a few days earlier. Despite the injury, he assured fans that he planned to get it fixed soon and that it wouldn't affect his preparation or mindset heading into fight night. Hooker explained that he had been dealing with a few issues over the past week, including feeling under the weather. Then, during training, he took a hit that broke his front tooth. In typical Dan Hooker fashion, he brushed it off with humor, saying that while his wife wasn't too happy about the situation, it didn't bother him much. The veteran lightweight admitted that he hadn't used his mouthguard for nearly a year, ever since his fight against Jalen Turner. He recently found it again, but to his surprise, it was still covered in dried blood from that previous fight. Laughing about the timing, Hooker said that the very same day he rediscovered his mouthguard, he ended up smashing his tooth in training. He went on to clarify that the damaged tooth was already a fake one from a previous incident, so the situation wasn't as serious as it initially sounded. He joked that his dental team would probably just patch it up again before the fight. This incident is yet another example of the kind of setbacks Hooker has had to endure throughout his career, from injuries to brutal fights, yet he continues to push forward with determination and grit. Hooker has long been one of the most battle-tested fighters in the UFC's lightweight division, earning a reputation for his willingness to face anyone, anywhere, and at any time. His upcoming bout with Arman Tsarukyan is one of the most anticipated matchups on the card, as it pits the experienced veteran against a fast-rising contender known for his aggressive wrestling and relentless pace. Despite the dental mishap, Hooker remains fully committed to putting on a show for the fans and proving that he still belongs among the top lightweights in the world. His attitude toward injuries and setbacks continues to define his fighting spirit. Instead of letting these challenges derail his focus, Hooker treats them as part of the journey. His casual response to losing a front tooth days before a major fight perfectly captures his no-nonsense mentality and toughness. For fans, it's just another reminder of why Dan Hooker is one of the most respected figures in MMA. A fighter who never complains, never backs down, and always steps into the octagon ready to leave everything on the line. Islam Makhachev recently expressed his interest in facing Ilia Topuria, suggesting that 2026 would be the ideal time for the two champions to meet. During a recent interview, Islam was asked whether a matchup between him and Topuria could ever happen and if it was something he wanted in his career. In his typical calm and confident manner, Islam responded that the fight could easily be made and that it would likely be one of the biggest events in MMA history. He emphasized that both he and Ilia are top-tier fighters with dominant performances in their divisions, and when the timing is right, the fight will naturally fall into place. Islam acknowledged that fans have been talking about a potential showdown between him and the undefeated Spanish-Georgian featherweight champion, and he agreed that it has all the ingredients of a massive event. He described it as the biggest fight, saying that everyone knows it would draw worldwide attention. According to Islam, he doesn't avoid any challenge and has always been open to facing the best, which is why a fight with Ilia is something he's genuinely interested in. However, he noted that the timing has to be perfect, and for him, that perfect time would be next year, in 2026. Makhachev explained that both fighters need to continue building their legacies before such a super fight takes place. He respects what Topuria has accomplished and believes that when the two finally meet, it should happen when they are both at their absolute peak. For Islam, that means continuing to dominate at welterweight, while Topuria solidifies his status at featherweight and potentially moves up. He sees the matchup not just as another fight, but as a moment that could define an era in mixed martial arts. Fans have been eager for cross-division matchups like this, and Islam's openness to the idea only fuels the excitement. A clash between Makhachev's technical, grappling heavy style and Topuria's explosive striking would create one of the most intriguing stylistic battles in modern UFC history. Islam's comment that, "next year is the best time," suggests that he's already envisioning the timeline and believes that by 2026, both fighters will have built enough momentum to make the event one of the most talked about fights in recent memory. Makhachev's confidence and respect for his potential opponent also stood out. He made it clear that he doesn't underestimate anyone and holds great respect for all fighters, including Topuria. His focus remains on continuing to prove himself as one of the pound-for-pound best in the world, but he also understands that legendary fights are what define legacies. As he put it, the world wants to see great champions face each other, and when that happens, it creates moments that live forever. For now, Islam remains committed to defending his welterweight belt and cementing his dominance across divisions. But his acknowledgement of a possible showdown with Ilia Topuria in 2026 shows that he's already thinking ahead, not just about defending titles, but about creating history. If both men continue their winning streaks, a clash between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria could very well become one of the most anticipated and monumental fights in UFC history. Dricus du Plessis has finally broken his silence following his brutal loss to Khamzat Chimaev and has shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. After taking time away from the media since UFC 319, where he was dominated by Chimaev, du Plessis resurfaced with calm reflection and honest insight. He openly admitted that the defeat was a tough one to process, both physically and mentally, but emphasized that setbacks are part of the sport and that he's already looking toward rebuilding his momentum in 2026. Despite the painful loss, his focus remains sharp, and he's motivated to remind fans why he's still one of the most dangerous middleweights in the UFC. When discussing Islam Makhachev's fight with Jack Della Maddalena, du Plessis made it clear that he's siding with Islam. He broke down his reasoning in detail, pointing to Makhachev's superior technical skills, intelligence in the cage, and elite experience against top-level opponents. He explained that Makhachev has consistently proven himself as one of the most dominant fighters in the world, holding the pound-for-pound crown for a long time for a very good reason. According to Du Plessis, people often overestimate Jack's size advantage, assuming that his natural frame will make a difference in the fight. However, he disagrees, saying that Islam and his team have handled the weight change perfectly through a carefully structured camp that ensured he bulked up efficiently without compromising speed or endurance. Du Plessis praised Jack Della Maddalena for his style, personality, and work ethic, describing him as a fighter he genuinely respects and enjoys watching. But at the same time, he acknowledged that Islam Makhachev operates on another level. He highlighted that Makhachev's mix of strength, discipline, and technique makes him a rare breed in the sport, capable of adapting seamlessly between divisions. Dricus believes Islam's grappling, control, and fight IQ will neutralize Jack's striking and prevent him from finding the range or rhythm he's used to. He stated that while Jack is powerful and skilled, Makhachev's experience in handling dangerous strikers like Volkanovski and Poirier gives him the edge in such matchups. Looking ahead to his own career, Du Plessis revealed that the UFC has hinted at potential opponents for him in 2026, possibly Brendan Allen or Caio Borralho. He admitted that the road back to title contention will be tough, but he's ready to take on any challenge necessary to rebuild his name. He understands that a rematch with Chimaev is not realistic anytime soon unless he goes on a dominant win streak. For now, his mindset is focused on regaining momentum, finishing fights, and earning respect again through performances rather than talk. Reflecting on his loss to Chimaev, Dricus didn't shy away from admitting that it was a humbling experience. He described it as a valuable learning moment that exposed areas of his game he needs to strengthen. Rather than making excuses, he used the loss as motivation to come back sharper and mentally stronger. He also expressed gratitude toward his team and fans who continued to support him through the tough period. In closing, Du Plessis reaffirmed his belief that Islam Makhachev will rise to the occasion and handle Jack Della Maddalena convincingly. He called Islam one of the most complete fighters in MMA history and predicted that he would continue to dominate even after moving up a weight class. While he admires Jack's spirit and talent, Du Plessis remains convinced that Islam's precision, composure, and overall fight IQ will secure him the victory. His closing words summed up both respect and realism. "I love Jack's style and I'd love to see him win, but I can't go against Makhachev. He's just too good, too smart, and too prepared for this level." Islam Makhachev recently joined Aiden Ross on a live stream, where he opened up about several hot topics surrounding the MMA world and his own fighting future. During the conversation, Islam discussed Khamzat Chimaev's recent title victory, the controversial eye poke incident between Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall, and his upcoming matchup against Jack Della Maddalena. Makhachev, calm and focused as always, gave fans a deeper look into his mindset, strategy, and ambitions heading into the next stage of his career. When asked about his fight preparation for Jack Della Maddalena, Islam admitted that this would be one of his toughest challenges to date. He explained that Jack's striking ability, movement, and composure make him an extremely dangerous opponent. Makhachev acknowledged that although wrestling has always been his strongest weapon, he's ready to stand and trade if necessary. He added that Jack's wrestling defense isn't perfect, but his overall grappling ability shouldn't be underestimated. Islam emphasized that his camp has been built around adapting to every possible scenario, whether it's taking the fight to the ground or winning exchanges on the feet. He described Jack as a well-rounded and confident fighter but maintained that his own experience and discipline would ultimately make the difference. Islam then went on to reveal potential plans for what could come next after his bout with Maddalena. He stated that a fight against Kamaru Usman makes the most sense given Usman's legendary status and achievements in the welterweight division. Makhachev spoke respectfully about Usman, calling him one of the greatest champions in UFC history and saying that facing him would be a true test of legacy. He said that after competing against Jack, he's open to that challenge, as it would mark another major step in his journey across multiple divisions. The conversation also touched on a potential fight with Ilia Topuria in 2026. Islam confirmed that both he and Topuria have discussed the matchup indirectly and that there's a strong possibility of it happening next year. He expressed genuine excitement for that fight, noting that it would likely take place at welterweight since both fighters are looking to cement their legacies across divisions. According to Islam, it's the kind of fight fans want to see, two champions in their prime, meeting in the middle to determine who truly belongs at the top of the pound-for-pound rankings. When asked about Khamzat Chimaev's recent title win over Dricus du Plessis, Islam admitted that he was surprised by how dominant Chimaev looked. He praised Khamzat's skills, especially his wrestling, calling him one of the few fighters who can use that background to completely control opponents. Makhachev noted that in today's MMA, fighters with wrestling foundations tend to dominate because wrestling forces every opponent to adjust their entire training camps just to defend against it. He explained that if someone spends months focusing only on takedown defense, they often end up neglecting other aspects of their game, which gives the wrestler a huge strategic advantage. Islam then reacted to the controversy surrounding the eye poke incident between Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall, sharing his own personal experience with a similar injury. He recalled suffering an eye poke once in his career and described how difficult it was to deal with the pain. He said that when one eye is damaged, it becomes nearly impossible to open the other without feeling severe discomfort because the eyes move together. He explained that it's an incredibly painful and disorienting experience that can affect a fighter's performance.